They say grief is a heavy blanket, but for me, it was a cold, empty house. After the funeral, the silence didn't just sit there, it moved. It paced the hallways of my childhood home like a guest who refused to leave. My mother's things were exactly where she'd left them, a half-knit sweater on the rocking chair, a teacup with a dried ring of Earl Grey at the bottom. I shouldn't have stayed the night, but the storm outside was a wall of grey glass and the roads were drowning. It started at 2 a.m. Thump, drag, thump. It was coming from directly above my head, the attic. But the attic had been sealed since I was 10. My father had nailed the hatch shut after the accidents, the things he never spoke about before he disappeared. I stood in the hallway, the floorboards screaming under my bare feet. I looked up. The rectangular outline of the hatch was bleeding a faint, rhythmic light. Not yellow light, not white. It was the colour of a bruise, deep purple and pulsing. "Mum?" I whispered. The word felt like a sin in that dark hallway. The dragging stopped. For a heartbeat, the entire world held its breath. Then, a voice drifted down through the wood. It wasn't my mother's. It was mine. My own voice, exactly as it sounded when I was 6 years old, laughing. I found the crowbar in the garage. My hands were shaking so hard, the metal clattered against the walls. I climbed the ladder. Each nail I pulled sounded like a bone snapping. Crack, crack. When the hatch finally gave way, the smell hit me first. It wasn't dust or rot. It was the smell of birthday cake and rain. I climbed inside. The attic wasn't a room, it was a mirror. The rafters were draped in thousands of photographs, all of them moving. In one, I was blowing out candles. In another, I was crying over a scraped knee. But as I looked closer, the horror set in. In every single photo, there was a shadow, a tall, faceless shape standing just behind me. In the birthday photo, it held the knife. In the playground photo, its hands were inches from my neck. "You're late," the voice said. I turned. Sitting in the corner was a figure wrapped in my mother's knit sweater. But it wasn't her. It was a collection of things, old hair, teeth, and scraps of my old clothes, sewn together into the shape of a person, and it was holding a needle. I tried to back away, but the floor wasn't wood anymore. It was soft. It was skin. The photographs began to peel off the walls, flying toward me like serrated wings. They weren't just memories. They were moments of my life being ripped back out of my head. I felt the first stitch pierce my skin. It didn't hurt. That was the worst part. It felt like coming home. The storm outside stopped instantly. Downstairs, the front door clicked open. I heard footsteps, my footsteps. Below me, a voice, strong, vibrant, and alive, called out, "Mum, I'm home. Sorry I'm late for the funeral." I tried to scream, but my mouth was already sewn shut with silver thread. Up in the dark, I watched through the cracks in the floorboards as I walked into the kitchen, picked up the teacup, and started to whistle. The house has a new guest now, and the attic is finally full.